Hello and welcome to the Engine Room on Bomber TV, the first episode for 2011. This week we're joined on the panel by former Essendon Premiership stars Dean Wallis and also Sean Wellman. Boys, thanks for joining us. Can you tell us, you've both spent some time at other clubs since you've both retired. Why did you come back to Essendon?
Firstly, for your viewers out there, if Sean looks a little bit tired, he had his buck show on the weekend and a great man's getting married, so...
I heard he's off the market.
He's off the market. But, Wally, why'd you come back?
I think you've got a good association with your club, and found out through the grapevine that Wally was coming back as well. I thought, what a better opportunity to work again with a great man.
Wally, on a serious note, the club was in need of a big revamp from the coaching panel. You've joined as a development coach especially. You must be rapt to be back.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't think you feel you ever left, and even though I went to an interstate club, Freo, over there with halves, and your heart was still here, so you communicated and you watched a lot of the games, so even though you weren't physically involved, you're still a part of it. And I think when Hurdy jumped on board, and then to get Bomber as well, Premiership captain for myself on 93 and 2000, what a bit of a great opportunity to be involved with two people you respect so much.
Well, it's been a big pre-season so far, with many of the players returning from the Christmas break, Welly, with recording personal best times. That's already a pleasing sign.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've worked extremely hard, and we've been really, really pleased with the improvement. And more than that, it's their actual willingness to improve, to actually look for some more work to do. I think you'll find that if we keep putting in that work ethic in players to keep looking for hard work, they'll find themselves improve.
Well, part of that hard work is also the grappling training, which the club's been undertaking over the pre-season. We're just going to go now to a little bit of vision of the grappling. Well, Stu, a big component of the pre-season has been grappling training on a weekly basis now. Can you talk us through the scientific benefits of grappling for our players?
The scientific benefits. I guess really it's just to try and simulate some of the movements and the positions that they're going to have to use on the weekend in a match, and get them comfortable using their body efficiently, and also some injury prevention in perhaps the way they fall and land, that they can then hopefully take out onto the training track and into matches.
I guess it's no secret these days, and we saw it in the grand final this year, or in both grand finals, contested footy is a huge part of the game, and in terms of winning, most teams are adopting a lot of attention towards that. Does this grappling help towards contested footy? Yeah,
that's the idea, that you make the guys really efficient with the way they move, and that in the one-on-one situations they're able to, get on top of their opponent and use their body effectively to win the ball.
I'd imagine some of the players are better than others. Can you take us through a couple of the players that are sort of doing the grappling a little bit better than others?
Yeah, look, some of the guys are a little bit more familiar with those concepts than others. I think most of you who've seen Heath Hocking play would expect that he'd be pretty handy, and he certainly is. The likes of Henry Slattery and Nathan Lovett-Murray are also excellent, but it's been really interesting to see some of the younger players come in who are quite raw from a movement skill perspective, and they've adapted really quickly and hopefully learned some excellent skills. And some of our smaller players like Travis Collier and Froggy Davey are really, really skilled.
Thanks, Stu.
No worries, pleasure.
High Performance Manager Stu Cormack there, talking about grappling. Now, boys, we've had a number of questions from fans that have accessed us via our number of digital channels, including Facebook and also Twitter. Wally, you'd be on Twitter, wouldn't you, mate?
Nah.
How do you spell that?
We have actually got a number of players that are on Twitter. I'll just go through them. Joe Watson, Angus Monfries, David Zakarakis, new recruit Josh Jenkins, and also Andrew Welsh are all on Twitter.
And there's a common theme there.
There is.
They're all pretty boys.
They are indeed. Now, the first question from Daniel Ferrugia. Welly and Wally, you're both tough nuts. Who would win in the boxing ring?
Oh, that's an easy question.
He would smash me. I don't know how I got put in that category, but sometimes people got me confused with Wally. I think that's why I might have been labelled with that. But I do know I got abused one time after I got my head shaved. They were yelling at Wallis, you're a dirty so-and-so. I used to cop that. So That was back in the early 2000s, but no, I think Wally will be covered.
Only just?
Nah, see, that's a myth and a perception. I'm a lover, not a fighter, so...
Well, and if that's the case, we'll just go to one of our questions via Facebook, Wally, here, just heading down the page.
Well, who's the best lover?
One from Paddy Noonan. Wally.
I've been married 15 years, mate.
Wally, will you be teaching the players to lay bumps a la your 1993 grand final beauty that laid out Milhana?
It's an interesting one. I missed 12 months of footy because of that collision. Caught myself and obviously didn't look after it that well on the night.
These days you probably get reported for 12 months.
Those type of things, you can't premeditate them. It's just the action of the game, and when you're playing grand finals, if you're lucky enough to get there, you do whatever you can to win, and that was probably the way we were taught along the way from the great man, KC. You don't get there very often. When you get there, you got to win them.
Absolutely. Another one here from Jack Thomas. How is Mark Williams progressing, guys?
Yeah, he's progressing okay. He's still got a long way to go. He'd be really disappointed with his season last year and his contribution coming to a new club. He's certainly trained more. And he's made some improvements, and he'll be really keen to atone probably for a disappointing year, because he's certainly got some talent. He can kick goals. He's proven that over the journey, but it's up to him. I mean, he's going to be competing with a lot of guys who want his spot, and that's what we want, a lot of competition within, so he's going to have to earn his spot like everyone else.
And another one perhaps for you, Welly. Boys, how do you think the back line will be structured? Should we play 4 talls with Hurley, Pears, Fletch and Hooker? Who else are candidates to hold down some back line positions?
Yeah, I think with defence you have to be quite flexible now, because forward lines have certainly changed over the years, where forward lines are probably going even smaller than ever because of the forward pressure that teams want. So I think with the players in there, they've got to have the flexibility. You might have a couple of tools and some guys who can play on a different range of opponents, because as Wally would know, being looking after the forward line at Fremantle, they're just there's a lot of speed and a lot of different players coming through there, so you have to adapt.
Well, speaking of speed, Ben Benson wants to know whether or not Alan Davey can perhaps step up into the midfield next year or this year as one of the fastest players in the league, and so he could be very destructive in that role.
Yeah, he's definitely an X factor, and I mean, you love young Froggy. He's worked with him when he first came to the club back in 2006, I think it was, or 2007. Probably earlier than that, sorry. He's got that ability, and I reckon he's improved himself from the endurance pace this year too. He's definitely taken the next step. All his testing suggests that he's got the opportunity to play there, and great sides have got a plethora of players that can play that role. So you just don't want your 3 or 4, you want a variety of players that can go through there. And I guarantee you, if he did go through there, it'd be very exciting to watch him play.
All right, and another fan question via Big Footy from Ghost Dog. Guys, have we got any definitive strategies worked out yet for the new interchange system? Obviously, we're going to have the 3 on the bench, but then also the 1 substitute. How do you think the clubs, and more specifically Essendon, will handle that new system?
Well, Ghost Dog. It'll be interesting to see how clubs. I think certainly the ruckman's been discussed, that there won't be 2 lumbering ruckmen. I think that'll definitely come into the game. How they use the sub. And when they use the sub, I think it'll adapt during the year. Teams will go in with a certain plan,